Today's presentation and webinar is brought to you by DIRDAC. I'm hosting today. My name is Sandy Schubert. I am one of the Vivid BSM SIG leaders, as well as the Pittsburgh chapter leader for Vivid. I'm also the Director of Program Management for J9 Technologies, now an Axiom company. We are a company that's focused on IT operations management and application performance management, and I am responsible for project and program management for our organization. Today's speakers are Doreen Jacoby, who is the President and CEO of DIRDAC. She's been working in IT since 1999. She's the co-founder at DIRDAC, and she's the leading vendor for intelligent incident and mobile response software. Doreen has held different executive positions and now acts as the President and CEO for DIRDAC Corp in the United States. She's fluent in English, German, and Spanish, and has a strong passion for technology. She also enjoys spending time reading, traveling, and on the water. Doreen supports various social engagements, including Women in IT and Business at School, an initiative by the Boston Consulting Group. We also have with us today Renee Borman, who is the R&D team leader for DIRDAC. He heads DIRDAC's product development team and owns expert knowledge in designing enterprise-class notification software and solutions. He has more than 9 years of experience and understands and anticipates evolving enterprise customer needs, as well as disruptive or new technology trends. He is a regular speaker at leading industry events and authors a deep dive technical blog for DIRDAC, sharing valuable insights into enterprise notification technology. A few housekeeping tips. Today's live session is intended for all Vivid members. The recording will be posted in the webinar section on the Vivid website, visible for all members. Additionally, today's slide deck and webinar recording will be made available to you. We will send you the link via email once they are posted to the Vivid website. If you have questions as we go along, please type and send them in using the questions pane in the webinar control panel. Here's a picture of the GoToWebinar control panel that usually appears in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. To submit a question, make sure the questions pane is expanded and type in your question and click on send. So let's get started. I will pass it over to our team members from DIRDAC.
Thank you, Sandy. Renee will need that other slide back there. Thanks a lot. Thanks for making the time, everyone, this morning or noon or afternoon, wherever you are at. I really don't want to bore you with a lot of slides here. I just basically want to give you a brief introduction of what we're about to show you, because the largest portion, or the main portion of this webinar, is actually going to be a live demo that Renee will guide us through. I just want to say a few words about Enterprise Alert, which is our product, which we regard as a system that basically allows you to address critical incidents and critical alerts wherever you are. So one of the pillars that we have in Enterprise Alert that we regard as being very important is that you need access to real-time information even when you're mobile. So we call that anywhere incident notifications, basically allowing you to respond to incidents significantly shorter than you normally would. You basically have the ability to work only if it's really required, and we give you the option to really make sure that you fulfill your SLAs. Now that's one of the pillars. The second one is effective collaboration. By that we mean that we want to address notifications and information to the people that are either on call or responsible or available at a certain time, by thus increasing effectiveness of your response, making sure that your workforce is used in a flexible and dedicated way so that they can really address issues as they arise and according to their skills and their responsibilities, right? And then the last pillar we look at is software remediation. So it's all nice and well if you do receive your notifications on your smartphones, or you receive a call, or you receive an email, but most of the time you would still have to log on and open your laptop and dial in through VPN or do whatever. And we really want to make sure that you don't have to do that, but that you have the capability from your smart device to trigger remediation actions. And Renee is going to show you how that all works in his demo, and that's really all I will say, other than that I wish us all a great demo, and if you do have any questions as we move along, we'll be here to address those, and I'll pass this over to Renee.
Okay, and thanks for the introduction. Let me get rid of the presentation stuff here first. And then I would like to kick the demo part off to you guys with an introduction to the systems that I plan to work with in the demo, and thereby also to make you familiar with the scenario that I have prepared today for you. So as you can see here in this browser window, there is a network node manager opened here in this browser tab that let's consider the team that I am managing is using for network monitoring, right? So the idea is that I am primarily talking to you as someone who is managing a network team, a team of network professionals that are responsible to operate the network infrastructure in a IT department of a corporation. And as I said, we use the Node Manager system from HP to get a great idea of how our systems are performing. You can see here in my demo environment, there's only one monitored node. But for demo purposes, this will be sufficient to give you an idea of how that is accomplished and how we can actually react if this node is failing. Then my team here is also involved in service desk activities. So when I switch the browser tab here, you can also see a HP Service Manager. So let's consider we use that for keeping track of really critical incidents in our central corporate CMDB. So we will work in this system here as well. Last but not least, from the HP side of things, you can see that I also have a HP operations orchestration system running with my team. And let's assume that we primarily use it for automating things and automating our operations, our network operations a bit. So the idea is that we work with certain content management packs here and use certain flows to automate our network operations, like port scanning or things like that. Now the main focal point in this demo is how we can actually transform the usage of these tools to an anywhere incident response experience, right? So we assume that during business hours, my team members are great performing and working with these tools, but now the idea is to actually make that mobile in after hours and for example on weekends, and to provide our team with a anywhere incident response experience. And this is what we actually we'll see today with Enterprise Alert from Doreen. You can see this software here in this fourth browser tab. That's at least the web app user interface of the backend system. Now, when it comes to mobility and anywhere incident response, what's also part of my demo, and I hope you can see this screen here as well, today is the mobile app, and here as an example the Windows Phone version of the Enterprise Alert mobile app. So as I said, the idea clearly is to be able to route key network incidents that occur or being detected by Node Manager in after hours or weekends, for example, to a team member on call, on duty and after hours to the mobile app. That's the basic idea here. And then to provide this person once he or she is alerted and notified and aware of the problem with a first responder tool set. Yeah, this is what we call remote actions. I will talk about that later on throughout the demo. But the idea really is to use these remote actions and tools to investigate the problem of which we were alerted, and for example keep track of it if it is really a major problem in our corporate CMDB. Yeah, so feed something back is a scenario of today's demo in our service manager system straight from the app. But then also to use these remote actions to troubleshoot the problem in a first responder style while we are mobile in our after-hour duty. Yeah, so the idea is to use the HP operations orchestration system, and to be more specific here, the flows that we set up in the system in our Enterprise Alert mobile app, and have them available for a alert notifications out of the Node Manager system. Yeah, so you can see here some flows from HP operations orchestrations that I mapped onto my mobile device, and whenever I'm talking or presenting the mobile app here, then we consider me talking as a persona of a team member who's responsible or currently on duty in after hours. But before I show you this scenario and really let the bits flow and the notifications arrive here on the smartphone, I would like to give you an idea how we can set this up, how we can connect these systems with each other, and manage on-call schedules and set up some automated notifications. This is what I would like to start with first. In the web app of the product, you can see it here. I'm logged in as the team lead, as the network team lead person, and you can see I can perform a couple of tasks here. And what I would like to show you is the scheduling experience when it comes to on-call service. Yeah, so when I want to offer an on-call service for the network infrastructure here, and I would want to look or be sure that I have an idea how my systems are performing and after hours as well, then the idea is to manage an on-call schedule for my network team. You can see in this demo system, I am actually not only managing the network team, but some other teams as well. But you can see my network team is showing up here, and obviously the scheduling status is quite good. That means at the very moment there is someone scheduled, and therefore the schedule is complete throughout this month. So I clicked on this tile for my network team, and then you can see I get a calendar control where I can easily make people responsible for after-hour duty. Yeah, so you can see in May my schedule is quite complete. That is what we can see here in the content section, and then here on the left-hand side you can see all my team members. Yeah, and I can actually make them responsible and assign after-hour duty just by dragging and dropping them from the left-hand panel here into the calendar. That's one option that I have. Yeah, that's a manual approach, and you can see I'm able to actually do my scheduling in the primary and the backup layer. This is what you can see on the right-hand side, and by clicking on these layers, I can activate scheduling in this layer. So the idea is to make not only one person responsible for after-hour alerts and incidents, but rather make use of more team members in order to be able to escalate automatically from the primary person to the backup. Should the primary person miss an alert or simply not acknowledge it, then it is quite a good idea to escalate on to some other team members in order to ensure that the incident is not missed at all. So that's a manual option that we have. When it comes to on-call scheduling in the product, there's a whole lot more features that we can make use of. You can see here on the very bottom of my member list, there's also an element that is called auto rotation. When I make use of that, then the idea is to actually make the rotation a bit more automatic so that you don't have to touch the schedule so often. Yeah, so the idea is to drag this element here into the calendar, and then we can actually edit our rotation schema, select who should participate in on-call, and define the duty lengths and the duration for this whole rotation of on-call service. And we can also activate backups, right? So let me remove some folks here from my team who I consider as, who don't participate in on-call service, but then I activate the backups checkbox here, and when I click on show preview, you get an idea of how we rotate automatically between all these team members. The idea is once you had primary duty, then after the next handover, you would get the network key incident from Node Manager last, right? That gives you maximum rest time, and then you move up until you are the primary person again, and then you would see the incident notifications first coming to you and your devices in after hours again. And so that's the idea of automating all that stuff. And as I said, the great advantage here is that you don't need to touch the schedule very often, unless you maybe onboard people or some folks may leave your team. Then you're good to go with the auto rotation. There's also some a lot of more features like standing capabilities. When you operate your on-call service on a 24/7 basis, even throughout the business or office hours, you send notifications to someone who has on-call service in that week. Then if that person has a meeting in the headquarters, then you maybe you are able to actually reroute the incident notifications to someone that is a stand-in for this person that is attending the meeting, or if that person calls in sick, then you can also easily define an ad hoc stand-in. A lot of functionality is in there. Then, as I said, the schema at which you, or the times at which you run the on-call notifications itself is something that you can also define. So you can see by default, we send it to the scheduled person on 24/7 basis, but you can also fine-tune that to match your schema. So here you can see an example setup where you only send notifications to the scheduled person's device in after hours and on a weekend. Then you have the ability to also enter your public holidays in the software, and then should such a weekday be a public holiday, then you can also tell the software to send the notifications to the scheduled person on that particular day or 24/7 basis anyways. So a lot of circumstances and scenarios that we actually cover here. Can export that schedule to PDF and all that stuff. This is the dialog where you can mark your holidays that apply at your region, and you can import them from other teams as well easily. All that kind of scenarios are in the product. Also, gap reminders something that you can benefit from, and you can also lock the past duties that were accomplished, maybe for accounting or invoicing and salary workflows that you applied in. A lot of scenarios here. Once your schedule is complete, there's a view in the software that we named Who is on Call, and it gives you a great idea who is the current on-call person from which team, in my IT department, for instance. So you can see there is a other team, some database folks, where Kai has duty at the very moment. When we look at my network team, then we can easily recognize that the primary on-call person at the very moment is John Doe, a demo dummy user. But this page is intended for getting an idea of which number to call if I have network trouble or issues with my database, or I, as someone on call who received an alert, thinks that it is a good idea to talk with someone else from a neighbor department, so to say, on call about the issue and attempt and approach it jointly. So all these scenarios are actually in the product. Now, when I come back to my when I come back to my network team, the question is now, how can I actually configure the product in a way to route the key incidents that pop up here in our node manager system automatically to the network team in Enterprise Alert, and to be more specific, to the currently scheduled person in the calendar at the time the incident occurs, right? How can we actually automate that scenario with Enterprise Alert? What we do here is we work with so-called alert policies, how we call them in the software. And the alert policies are kind of rules where you define the target of certain incidents. It's actually a very good vehicle for targeted notifications in the software. So the idea is to route network incidents to the network team and database related stuff that maybe comes out of HP Operations Manager that I don't have shared today, to the database team that you have seen in the product as well. This is what we control and manage with so-called alert policies, and we can administrate them in the alerts section here. So there's a tile that lists me all my alert policies that I use to route stuff to the teams that I manage as a team leader. That can be delegated, of course, as well. So my team members may also set up things on their own that they would want to see on their devices and after hour duty. But here you can see how it looks like as a team leader. You can see there's a lot of event sources in Enterprise Alert. So in the DERAC software, we talk about event sources, and within event sources, we mean systems like HP Network Node Manager, HP Operations Manager, Service Manager, etc. Also, standard APIs that the software has are involved here as well. So through all these sources that the software has, we can receive these detected incidents. So it's crucial to understand that we don't monitor stuff on your own, on our own. We rather connect to your existing systems in your environment. And you can see on the very bottom, there's the policy that drives my demo today. It triggers on key incidents from Network Node Manager and sends the stuff to my network team, as you can see. So the idea is to tell the software, hey, when something comes in from Network Node Manager as an event source, then send it to my network team. Now, what I would like to show you briefly, and what I would like to touch briefly at this point in time, is also the other event sources and how we set such an event source up. When I switch to this other browser here, you can see the admin experience. The view that I get when I log in as an admin to Enterprise Alert. We can see a systems menu item here on the left-hand side then. And here you can see we are able to set up our event sources. So here we can see all the connections to our existing systems and environment from which we receive incident information. And you can see my Network Node Manager showing up here. HPOM is connected as well. The Service Manager that you have seen. So all these systems are connected here. And when I go into detail here for that Node Manager connection, you can see when it comes to configuring and setting that up, it's basically all about specifying a web service URL and then some access credentials, and then we are good to go. So then we integrate and connect ourselves into these products. And from there on, we receive incidents automatically and log them as an incoming event in our system. And then it depends on the policies if they match criteria. When it comes to the automation systems, and we have seen the operations orchestration system as well, we can configure them here in the IT automation section. And here you can see the tile for HP OO on that particular system. The story is similar. There is a web service that we touch and we need some access credentials. And then we can actually read the existing runbooks or flows of these systems and map them on to the mobile device, as you have seen that here in my app window. Yeah, so there's the section that we call remote actions, and all the flows from the orchestration system, something that we can then map onto the mobile device of people. And here's an example. There's two flows in my operations orchestration system that allow me to control Windows services when I am mobile and have on-call duty, which can be very handy to recover software systems or whatever. And imagine there is more tasks here, more flows available that would allow me to deal with my network infrastructure as well. So that's the basic idea. Set up the flows in that software, then define remote actions, and grant people from your team access to these remote actions. And then when they log in with the app, they have these remote action tiles here, and can execute them while they are mobile. Okay, I talked a lot about these systems. Now I think we have prepared a poll where we would like to know what kind of systems you can imagine to connect, and from which systems you can imagine to send incident information to Enterprise Alert.
That's actually the other one, but we might as well do it like that. There's actually the notification channel piece. So one of the other ideas we had for asking you was that if you could share with us what your favorite notification channels are for receiving alerts or notifications while you're on call. Do you use voice? Do you prefer text messaging, or do you work with smartphone push, or is an email sufficient? Is it IM that you use? So just that we have a general understanding of what your preferred channels are. Renee will show us a little more about that a little further down the line. Since this question is here already, we might as well work it. So if you could all just give us your verdict on what you prefer, that would be great. And as you can see, you can select all that apply. So if it's a mixture of what you see here on the screen, you might as well just click all that apply to you. I think we have about another few seconds here for you to vote, and then we're going to share some of the results, and then of course go on with our demo. So what I'm seeing here, I'm seeing a lot of emails. There you go. So that's your text messaging and email. I see voice being pretty strong here too. So that's good. What do we say to that, Renee?
Yeah, that's interesting and matches the scenario a bit as well. My question would be, what about push, you know?
Right. All right. Well, then, thanks everyone for sharing. And let's go on with the demo here. Renee, let's just continue.
Yeah. Okay. So you can see my screen again, hopefully. With these, insight into how we can connect the systems that we have in the environment to Enterprise Alert as our notification and anywhere incident response software, I would like to go briefly into detail about Ndc Alert Policy that I was introducing you to. So the idea is that triggers on these incidents that we see in Node Manager, and then we route it to my network team. The policy triggers when the incoming incident matches some conditions. So you would want to isolate network-related incidents and separate them from the database incidents. So you can create as much as alert policies as you want to, but then the idea is to change the conditions in each policy, because then in the destination section of each policy you select a different target, right? And maybe also a different notification workflow, or you would want to use make use of a different notification channel if the incident is less severe and has a less severity, for example. This is what you can actually set up with these conditions here. And you can see you have access to all of the details of the alert or incident coming in from the third-party system. In this demo, our network node manager. Yeah, so you can set up a lot of criteria here, and only if the incident that your node manager fires matches these characteristics, then the policy would actually trigger. But there's even more intelligence coming with the product. We can see a lot of checkboxes, and they are quite useful. We can activate a duplicate suppression, yeah, to reduce the noise that we send to our team members and after hours. We can, more importantly, activate this checkbox here, wait for a potential automatic recovery. Yeah? So when the incident disappears in Node Manager automatically, and that happens, let's say, within 5 minutes, then we don't even notify the person on call, and maybe, yeah, let them sleep, you know. This is the idea here, yeah. Or we can actually say it becomes only really critical and is worthy after our notification if it occurs multiple times, yeah. All these kind of logics are available here and help you to reduce the noise that you send to your after hours stuff. Anyways, when these conditions match, we route the notifications to the destination that you select here. These are accounts that we configure in Enterprise Alert. Yeah, we can configure them in the people section here. Yeah, when I would switch to my admin view, I can show you that normally we import them from your corporate directory automatically, so there's no need to manage all these entities here manually. But then, as I said in this demo, I want to route it to my network team, and then I tell the software that this is really something I would like to send to the person that is currently on call, according to the schedule of that team. This is why I select on-call schedule here as a team notification procedure. Yeah, and then I can activate that I am myself will get the notification and alert should my team members miss the alert at all, yeah, and don't respond to it. And that they need to acknowledge or respond to it is something that I can activate here on the alerting section. So here you can even more fine-tune the notification workflow. Yeah, so, and especially in after-hour scenarios, it makes sense to activate or select this value here that the notification that we send to the person or the alert that we generate must be manually acknowledged by the on-call person. Otherwise, we would escalate to a team member up to the manager, as you have seen it on the previous tab, yeah, to ensure that really someone makes notice of this new incident, and then we can repeat that as well, and all that stuff. So you can fine-tune the whole workflow here a lot. You can also select the notification channel here, yeah, and find and follow me in the product means that we notify each user in a fashion and style he prefers that to happen. So there's even one more browser that I have open where there's a login of a team member, yeah, the same login that I use with the app that you have seen. And when I click here on my profile, you can see that there's the idea of a notification profile that each user can maintain. Yeah, and when I click on it, we can see all the notification channels this user has, and the idea really is to make use of them. Yeah, either all of them at the same time. Yeah, we can really bombard these people as well, but also can walk through this list in an escalation fashion where we attempt the first channel, and then after a timeout that you can configure with the policy, we send the notification through the next channel the person has here in that list. That behavior happens and is applied when we select in the policy find and follow that user. But of course, I have also the option to override that and force usage of a specific channel for this specific incident scenario, yeah, that I have fetched and isolate with my conditions in the policy. Last but not least, before I kick it really off and will manually affect my network here in the demo, is the message composition. So here we actually compose our, let's say SMS text message. Yeah, I can enter static values here, so static text. But I can also embed attributes from the third-party system. Yeah, you can see it here. I have again access to all the attributes of a key incident coming from my node manager, And the values that this incident has is something that I can embed and forward with the SMS text message pretty easily. So this is what the yellow boxes stand for. Yeah, and this is then the text that my team members would get and see in emails, SMS text, and also in the app. We will see that shortly. Okay, with that, let's kick a scenario off and simulate a critical network incident here. That network node manager will detect and then see that the policy applies and track all the notifications in the portal as well. Yeah, so tracking and auditability is really a key focus as well, as we want to reduce the finger pointing and want to also always be able to comprehend who has received the message, who hasn't, and if this person has acknowledged and when, and all these kind of sensitive and important information when it comes to incident management. All right, so there is a other virtual machine that I have here, and there's a network card on this machine. And this network card is actually the network item behind my monitored node here in Node Manager. So what my plan is to deactivate this network card now manually. Yeah, so this is my incident creation, so to say. And these kind of things happen automatically, right? But for the purpose of this demo, I will do it manually, and I will also trigger Node Manager here manually to speed the demo a bit up. It polls the device in an interval as well, but this does not take too long this time. I kicked it off manually, and you can see it has detected that it is not responding, and now we need to hurry up. This device becomes red, and now we go back to Enterprise Alert, and should see the alert in this alert center, which happened now, right? So now we received an event through the connection that you have seen, that we have here configured in the software, and the policy that I walked you through applied through the conditions of this key incident in Node Manager, and has triggered us a new notification to the network team. More specifically to John Doe, because he's currently the primary on-call person in that team, right? But as he's the dummy user, he won't pick up, and that's why the software is currently escalating onto myself, to Renee, as the next team member in line, as the backup person. And you can see in my Windows Phone app, I have received a push notification. Now, push was obviously not your favorite channel in the poll. That's why I think it's a good idea to wait until the software escalates onwards to the voice call. Remember to the notification profile of that user. The voice call notification was the next channel of in this user's notification profile, and then about 20 seconds, we will call the user. Assume the situation, or think about the situation where I'm deeply sleeping in the night. The push is something that I did not. That I haven't noticed, and then the phone call is expected to do the trick this time and wake me up. So in background in the web app, we can see in real time that the portal updates the notifications it sends, and then we should see an incoming phone call to this phone, and then we can hear the computer voice of Enterprise Alert, and then we get some instructions and so on. So I click on answer here, make the speaker active.
Please press 1.
So I press 1 as mailbox check.
Following node is down. Name 192.168.99.46.
So this is now TTS engine. And to acknowledge that incident, I can simply click on the or tap on the keypad. I can tap the key 1, and thereby you have hopefully seen that I have acknowledged this problem on the phone, right? And now I'm awake and can drill down into detail and investigate this problem with my mobile smart device. Now, before we continue with that experience, I would like to show you how we actually updated that record in a third-party system, because the connection is really two-way that we established between Network Node Manager and Enterprise Alert, right? So you can see we have annotated that that record here. Yeah, we annotated that there was a policy that matched the criteria or the characteristics of this key incident, and that it was finally acknowledged by Renee, right? This is what we can read here. Now, if I would have acknowledged this incident within the app directly by tapping a checkmark button in the record that we will see soon, then I'm able to append comments as well, and they would be listed here as well. Yeah. So keep in mind that the integration is two-way and that we really close the loop into the third-party source system. Yeah. And we also updated the lifecycle status to in progress, which is something that you can configure to match your scenarios, how you would want to play it. But the idea really is to touch these records in the source system and to keep these systems in sync. Coming back to the mobile experience, drilling down into further details. So the idea now is to investigate the problem, to collaborate with my peers, maybe to call my team members automatically, start an IM chat and all these kind of things. This alert is now acknowledged. I have access to all the details of the node manager system here in the app. So I can browse them to get an idea of what I should do. Now in this demo, my scenario is that I first of all, so let's refresh that view so that it moves to the acknowledged view, because I did that on the phone. The idea now is to investigate the problem first of all with a flow in operations orchestrations where I simply ping the node that was that is obviously failing again to see what's currently going on. If it's really totally down or slowly responding, this is what I would like to figure out first. So I execute that flow. This is the idea by entering my remote action pin that I manage with Enterprise Alert. And then what happens now is that from within an operations orchestrations flow, I ping that device that failed and then return the result back to the mobile device, to investigate the situation in my environment, in my data center while I'm remote. So the idea is to prevent the user from the need to open the laptop, dial in, establishing VPN and working in the consoles he uses in business hours, and bring that all to the mobile devices. So here we can obviously see that the time to live expired in transit, and that really indicates that the let's say a critical network backbone is really deeply affected or heavily affected, which brings us to the point where it may be a good idea to lock this kind of situation in our CMDB for further reference next morning in the business hours when my team is supporting me on that particular incident. So let's quickly lock that guy in the CMDB system by executing another flow. So here we have some prepared values. Did that for speeding up the demo at this point as well. But you can adjust that incident that we now lock in Service Manager pre-order flow execution, right? So I refresh that here, and then you can see it is executed already, and there's then an incident ID that is also returned, and then we can use that ID to find the incident to prove that we really locked something in our CMDB. So when we search the IM10196 guy, then we can see that this opens up the record that we have just created throughout the mobile device, and there's other activities that we can also make available on the mobile device to let's say annotate that guy a bit further or change its status and stuff like that. Now, throughout the further investigation and decision, we may have an idea of how to proceed now and how to troubleshoot this problem. Maybe also after a voice call to colleagues, or a chat, which is something that I can't show you in this demo. But let's say once we have a plan what to do, then the idea really is to troubleshoot the problem remotely. And what I have prepared here is a flow again that restarts the network device here as an example to fix problems while you're on duty in after hours. So you can see here other remediation activities where restart MT services. You have seen that where I may reboot VMs or things like that, whole servers, whatever you want to do. You can implement it in a flow and then map that onto the smart device of selected folks. So I will now execute that remote action here, which simply enables my network card again, right? But usually this is now intended to reboot a switch or hub or whatever. Fixes this really critical network incident in our environment, just to give you an idea. And this should have happened now. So you can see the connection here. This network card is now enabled again, which caused Node Manager to close this key incident. And this closure, this update of the record in the source system is again being forwarded to Enterprise Alert. Yeah. And this is what you can also see here as an annotation in the original alert notification. Here we can see it obviously closed in the third-party system, after some mobile mobile remediation action execution, so to say. So when we go to the incoming events section, where we can further comprehend this, we can see here the update from coming in from Network Node Manager. Then we actually also got information from Service Manager that there's a new incident available, but this guy is a incident that we ourselves logged remotely, so it may make no sense to trigger a notification out of it. That's why nothing triggered here. But then you can also see here the original Network Node Manager key incident transmission to Enterprise Alert. It triggered the policy and caused the initial notifications. And the record on top is the update from Node Manager that told us that this key incident is now closed. And when we, as the person on duty now, update our views here again, then we can see that this note down alert is already synced to the closed view as well. And remember, if we know that we don't want to use these tools, these office hour tools in the after hours, then there is proof, and it is clearly indicated that the incident that was in our environment active is now closed just because I executed the right remote action that obviously recovered the situation in my environment. Okay, that's actually it for the demo part. Hopefully, you were able to understand something and it makes sense for you, and you have an idea of how things work out together and how we envision an anywhere incident response in after hours, for example. And with that, I would like to approach the FAQ part of the webinar.
Okay. Thank you so much, Renee and Doreen. We're going to open it up for questions now. As a reminder, you can put your questions in the control panel if you have anything additional that you would like to ask about the product. And we have a few here. So the first one is, how is the product licensed?
Doreen, I guess this is a question for you.
I just went on mute, Doreen, and there's like, oh, where's my mute me button? Basically, what you saw here today, and there was one question in between that I already answered, is you saw an on-prem license running in our demo lab. So for the on-prem software we license per server the software runs on. You can connect it to as many event sources, so backend systems, as you like, and then the scalability factor really comes from the number of users that receive notifications. They can have as many communication endpoints, devices, etc. as you like, but for each user that does receive notifications and that is a named user here in the system, you require a user license. And that's really the sort of licensing aspect of it. We do also, I just see a couple of questions coming in that I might as well, since we're at it, smartphone as well. Renee, I think that's a question for you. That's a question around infrastructure.
I have some difficulties opening the no, I can see questions. Oh, hold on for a second.
So you broke up a little bit there, Doreen. Which question were you addressing?
Sorry.
The infrastructure of the
solution. It was the question. What's yeah.
Yeah, the infrastructure is actually based on a Windows Server operating system. Yeah, so the idea is to have a virtual machine where you install the product's backend system. Then this machine also hosts this web application that you have seen, some other APIs that the mobile app touches, and then you need a SQL Server database to which you connect this application. And this is actually it. And if you want to make it high available, then you simply deploy an additional virtual machine. You connect it to the same high available database. And this is actually how it looks like. Then it also depends a bit on the notification channels that you want to make use of as well. So for SMS text, we have various options, starting with non-true SMS text, where we simply send emails. We can also work with various hardware devices with a SIM card in it to send true SMS text messages, but also have the ability to connect to carriers directly.
Okay. There's a question about integrations that I wanted to follow up and ask myself as well. So there's a question about HP OMI being supported, but my question was also around, I see that you do OOM, SM, and NNM. So in addition to OMI, are there any other HP products that are on the roadmap to be integrated?
So HP OMI is supported as well. And yeah, I'm afraid all the others would be as well, because there's always also the capability of sending something to our standard APIs. I'm not sure if you guys can still see my screen. We had the section open where we listed all the event sources, and yes, you have seen all the HP names there, but there was also a web service there that you can use to send your stuff, an example from a command line to the software, or as an email to our SMTP server. There is the idea of either using smart connectors that we provide for well-known systems, or to send something from your third-party software to our standard APIs like web service, email, file, and things like that. So there's various ways to integrate all of your HP solutions to Enterprise Alert.
Okay.
And then I can
Go ahead.
And then I can read an additional question here. How about for voice? I guess that refers to how we actually establish the voice calls and stuff. That is actually based on voice over IP. So that is purely IP based. And the idea here is, again, to connect what you already have. Yeah, be it on your premises or in the cloud. Connect to a voice over IP gateway using the SIP protocol. On-prem examples are Cisco systems, Avaya, and all that stuff. But to connect to these systems and then use them to initiate calls, also to public phones, and also to receive incoming calls from your team members, etc. So it's voice over IP actually, and then we use text to speech to transform what we get from Node Manager to some audio information that users can understand on the phone.
There's another question about how is the product licensed? How do you support high availability scenarios?
Yes, we do, and I believe I briefly touched it already. As I said, it is comprised of multiple instances of the software, and then these instances connect to a high available database. There's a load balancer sitting in front of these instances, and then we share the workloads between these instances. So usually that is an active approach or operations mode that our customers then use to operate their high available deployment of Enterprise Alert.
Okay. Do you have evaluation licenses if someone wants to test the product?
Yes, we do, definitely. There's various options to start a product trial. That is definitely available, yes.
Yeah, the easiest is just go to the website or look at the look out for the follow-up email that we're going to send out after this webinar, which will have a link to a trial license.
Okay, and are you going to be at HP Discover?
Yes, we will be there, and we're looking forward to having people coming by our booth. So we're one of the exhibitors there on the floor. We're actually a brand sponsor, and we do have a booth number, which I believe is 4386, but they're so cryptical. Anyway, look for us on the show floor, and we're there.
Okay.
And there,
I think we've addressed the questions, unless there are any others.
There's one more question, Renee. I sent it to you. Followed up on asked when you explained about here asks if that will be supported on a virtual platform.
Yes, I read the question as well. I'm not entirely sure how that question is meant. Integration in HPSM is really purely web service. Is there an awareness in your product with the assignment group? Yes, I believe that parameter is well defined. So we carry on the assignment groups, and then you can use these values to directly map that to a team in our product. So this is definitely the case, and yeah, it's also supported actually on the virtual platform. So you can use a hypervisor of your choice if your question refers to that. We have customers running it on VMware and Hyper-V, so no problems on that side of things. So really, it's all about virtualization. There is no physical thing that you need to separately deploy just for our application. Definitely not.
Then we have a question here, which is probably again a question for me on the how is the off-prem licensed? Now that is an interesting question because right now the product as you see it is mainly sold as on-prem. We do have a version available, but that runs through a different. Well, it runs through the Microsoft Azure Marketplace, and there is a subscription-based license to that. So there is no full cloud-based version available on Enterprise Alert yet. So it would be on-prem or the Azure Marketplace.
Okay, I think we've gone through all the questions, so if we can pull up the last closing slides, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. So I guess this is am I still presenting? Yes.
You are. Yep. So we can just run through them without the slides. We basically just wanted to remind you all that HP Discover is next week. It's not too late to sign up. HP Software invites you to join more than 11,000 IT executives, managers, architects, engineers, and experts from around the world at HP Discover in Las Vegas from June 2nd to the 4th. At HP's largest conference of the year, you will be able to explore technology deployment strategies and best practices and learn about HP's latest software and solutions for the new style of IT. So if you would like to register, make sure that you go to the unique Vivid Worldwide link, which is www.hp.com/go/discover/Vivid, and you will receive $300 off of your registration. Also of note, at HP Discover, there are going to be 10 deep dive sessions that you can attend. So this basically gives you 4 hours to learn more about a specific topic from thought leaders, evangelists, and technologists that are gathering inputs from around the world and setting direction. With Vivid Deep Dive, you'll have the opportunity to join these experts and have a wonderful time as we put on our thinking caps and go through a deep dive discussion and hands-on exercises with the topics that you care about most. And I am really excited to see that there's one that's on Operations Bridge that you probably will be definitely interested in attending. So those take place on Monday, June 1st from 1 to 5. The cost per session is only $99 thanks to our sponsors, and that's an incredible value, which normally costs $495. So you can register for these sessions either through your new or your existing HP Discover conference registration. So we'd like to thank you for joining the webinar today. We'd like to also announce that we have 2 winners for folks that opted in to hear more about DIRDAC for Amazon gift cards, and those are Luann Ingram and Doug Dow. You'll receive in your email tomorrow a code for your Amazon gift card redemption. And if you'd like to complete a short survey, you can also do that as well at dirdoc.com or at Vivid. So we'd like to thank you very much for joining us today, and we hope that you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.